Hey y'all, welcome back to the studio. I'm Michali of Michali's Studio, and today we are on part 5 of the series where I share with you me swatching my Copic sketch markers using the Copic sketch marker swatch paper. So today we're going to be doing all the blues. I have 11 blues. Blue is one of my favorite colors, so I'm really excited to see them all come to life here. If you're not familiar with this series, quick recap, I am sharing how to swatch using the Copic Swatch Cards and all the colors that I have. I don't have all the Copic sketch markers. I am slowly developing and adding to my collection, and I do it gradually. So in the previous parts of this series, I showed you blue, violet, and violet, red, red, violet, yellow, red, yellow, yellow, green, green, and blue, green. And now we're off to the blues. So let's dive right in with the first color. As I shared in the previous parts of this series, but in case you haven't seen it and you're stumbling on this series for the first time, we swatch with the wider chiseled edge tip of our Copic sketch marker rather than the brush tip to get a nice smooth line. And with these Copic sketch cards, with this swatch paper that we have 3 boxes. And just a refresher, we are going to give ourselves 3 strokes. So we're going to have what it looks like with 1, then buildability with 2, and then with 3, which really helps us to see the beautiful progression of the color and how you can build your color when you're rendering your illustrations, your fashion designs, and so forth with the Copic sketch markers. Starting off with B000, pale porcelain blue. And again, what's important is to put some light pressure. See how you have that chiseled edge right along the edge of the paper, and we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. And this way, you can really see how the color progresses if you only apply 1 stroke, 2, or 3, and how you can build it and blend it with your other Copic markers. This is a beautiful light blue, very kind of transparent, great for transparent fabrics and for softer detail if your color palette is more for spring. This is particularly for fashion illustration and design. That is my background, and I use my Copic sketch markers for rendering my PaperDolls, which are inspired by my own fashion designs, my fashion illustrations, and so forth. Next up in my Copic sketch collection, blue is B01, which is mint blue. And again, we're just going to apply the chiseled edge brush to the box. 1, 2, 3. Notice how these two, being as they're almost neighbor blues, would work well together if you wanted to kind of get really intense shadows. You could use mint blue with pale porcelain blue. Beautiful color. Skipping ahead, I wish I had some of these other blues, but I don't. We're gonna go to B14, light blue. This color I purchased specifically for a collection of PaperDolls, which is now up on my channel. Check them out. It's the dolls I did inspired by the Clue characters in the game and in the film. Look at that beautiful, rich blue. Oh, this is just gorgeous. Another thing that's handy about these swatch cards, not only can you see which markers you have and what the colors look like and what they look like with buildability, these ones also tell you if they're available in the other types of Copic markers. So the square indicates if it also comes in Copic Classic, and the circle indicates if it comes in Copic Kayo. All the other ones, of course, are because these are for the Copic swatch. For the Copic sketch markers. All right, skipping through a lot, and I'm just reading these names, and I'm like, I want all of them. I love blue. Is B34, which is manganese blue. And again, just be sure to do a gentle press. Look at that. This is a much more tonal, much more muted blue compared to the light blue. And for me, it gives me very denim vibes. I have not used it yet for denim. I'll show you further down which ones I do use for denim and I recommend. But for a lighter denim jean, I think B34 would be really beautiful. This one I also purchased when I was preparing to render my Clue paper dolls. Skipping forward to B37, Antwerp Blue. This is one of the markers I got actually while I was still in school studying fashion design. This is a great, very rich color. Let's swatch it. So you can see how this blue is darker and it has a really nice buildability. It's kind of hard to see, but also a gorgeous blue, a lot more royal, and it's gonna be really cool once I show you the next one, which is Prussian blue. Getting you guys a little closer so you can hear those wonderful satisfying sounds of the markers as I apply them on the piece of paper. And let's look at Prussian blue, which if you're Bob Ross fans, you know that that's one of the blues he would use often. So we're going to pop this open. And again, very gently, but with a little bit of pressure. Right away, you see the difference between these two. This has a lot more blue, whereas this kind of has more green tones in it, and this gets really nice and dark. Also a good one if you're going for a dark denim look. Skipping ahead to B60, Pale Blue Gray. And again, 1, 2, 3. So satisfying. Another great one for transparent kind of chiffon-like fabrics. It's really a delicate color. It's really quite on the gray side, but you can see those blue undertones. It's kind of maybe hard to see, but look how light it is with one stroke versus when you build it. So it's a really beautiful color and also great for fabrics. Next up is B63 Light Hydrangea. Another gorgeous blue, to me this is like very periwinkle in its tones, and I just love how delicate and gentle it is. And you can see how these two would work together. If you wanted to use these two together, you could kind of build on both of these. And that's, sister colors tend to work that way when it comes to Copic markers. All right, skipping ahead down to B95 Light Grayish Cobalt. So B95 and later B97 Nine Blue, two of my favorite colors in the blue family of the Copic markers, and these are the ones that I use to create a real denim look in my fashion illustrations, my fashion designs, my paper dolls. These two I highly recommend having and using together, especially if you design or illustrate a lot of denim. So this is B95, Light Grayish Cobalt, and again, a little pressure. Look at that beautiful color. I love it at every level, and I just think it works so well for denim. So let's look at the sister color, B97 Night Blue. Another gorgeous blue. I absolutely love this color. you can right away see how you could use these together to get the shadows that you want with B97 if you're starting off, if your base is B95, and you can play with them, and because they build so beautifully, you have a great progression for denim jeans. Last but certainly not least, in my collection of blues, which I'm looking at this sheet and I'm like, I need more, but that's the process, collecting them slowly, is B99 Agate. Again, a very rich, dark blue, and it builds really nice and dark and works just really, I mean, if you're doing any kind of gemstone kind of designs, wintry, it's a beautiful color for that, and could also work for denim, and is another one that I just absolutely love. So here we have all the blues that I currently own of my Copic markers. I'm super excited to add more to this collection in due time, and I'll be sure to share those swatches with you when I do. Yeah, all, thank you so much for joining me today in this episode of this series where I swatch my Copic markers. We did all the blues that I own today, and in the next part, part 6, I will show you all the earth tones that I own. That winds up being on 2 sheets, and I have a fair amount of the earth tones, so I'm super excited to share those with you. Be sure to check out the rest of this series in my profile. There'll be a playlist up for you all to just go through, swatch markers together with me, get some color recommendation for uses, and see how this process is done. I can't wait to see you in my next episode. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you in my next video.